Hey, how you doing? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to another time here in the at the book club. It's what I gotta do, or we gotta do. Uh, Sunday afternoons at 2 p.m. West African time. So glad to have you here. So glad you came. So glad you could join me in at this time. We've been doing a read presently through the book, which is our seventh book in the series, The Amen Effect. The Amen Effect by Sharon Brous, and is ancient wisdom to mend our broken hearts and world. Ancient wisdom to make us whole again. I love the song that I heard a while ago as a Christian song talking about wounded soldiers. We're all soldiers fighting this battle of life, as it were, and we're all pilgrims here, and it behooves us to succeed in this battle because if we don't succeed, then we don't fulfill purpose. Part of fulfilling purpose is winning the battle of life, because there are a lot of things contending against us, in this on this pilgrimage of life, in this battle of life, and when we get wounded, we miss it, we fail, we fall. Important thing is that we get back up. We're not fully ourselves. We need healing in one way or the other, and our power, our effectiveness, is a function of the healing we've gotten from the injury that life has given to us. Some people don't never get healed from it, so they live life wounded. They live life less than they can be. They attain less than the potential that is theirs. They hold themselves back, from giving, all they have to succeed in this life. They hold back, from the things they can do, and therefore they never live to their potential. One of the things I was sharing this morning as I looked at the word practice this morning, is that we don't grow to our potential. We don't live to the level of our potential. We only live to the level of our practice. You only be as good as you are willing to expose yourself to risk yourself, to practice yourself, to push yourself to. If you have the potential of 1,000 miles, but you're only willing to practice to 500, that's all you'll ever get out of life. Life is not going to force itself on you. Life is gonna push you. Life is going to give you indications of what you can do, but the final decision is yours. You only get out of life what you are willing to sow into life. The principle of life, like I say all the time, is give and you shall be given. Give and you shall be given. You only get the reward of how much sacrifice you are able to give. You only get the reward of how much discipline you are able to give, nothing more. Right. So the fullness of our life, the extent of our life, how far we can go or obtain in life is a function of the decisions we make and how much sacrifice we're willing to make. It's all in our hands. It has nothing to do with the environment. It has nothing to do with our country. It has nothing to do with who is the president. It has nothing to do with who is the governor. It has nothing to do with the government policies. It has everything to do with us. We are responsible for our lives. We are the master of our fate. We are the master of our destiny. We are the captain of our soul. We make the decisions for our life. What differentiates one man from the other is the decisions they make and the sacrifice they are willing to make, the discipline they are willing to push themselves through, right? Because one man makes it above the other doesn't mean that the man that makes it above the other is more talented or gifted or has more opportunities than the other. It just means that that person is willing to practice, to push him or herself. That person is willing to harness the opportunities in his or her part. That person is willing to make the sacrifice for growth. That person is willing to make the disciplines for growth. That's what differentiates one person from the other. Nothing else, not God. It's the same God over us all. but we differentiate ourselves by the decisions we'll make. That's how we differentiate ourselves. That's how one person is poor, the other person is rich. Full stop. It has nothing to do with the church they go to. It has nothing to do with their pastor. It has everything to do with the decisions they are making every moment, every minute, every day, every week, every month, every year. That's what differentiates us from one another. Nothing more, nothing less. Right? So welcome to this time. This is going to be our fourth time reading into our fourth take in chapter 4. And I think we'll probably have one or two more after this to finish it all up. I love chapter 4. That's where we're in right now in the book. And the title is Come Alive, Come Alive, Come Alive, Come Alive, Come Alive. You cannot unrest life until you come alive. Just talking earlier on about wounded soldiers, wounded people, and here we're talking about healing. Come alive. Release yourself to be healed. Release yourself to be treated. Release yourself to be touched. Release yourself to be helped. Right? And that's what we've been sharing here in chapter 4. I'm going to bring up my slide like I normally do, and we're going to take a structured part, in our fourth take in chapter 4, and we'll see if we can finish it today. Great. If we can't, we'll continue next week. All right. Let me bring up my slide here and we'll take it. Great. You see my slide on YouTube. You can see my slide on my blogging site. And you can see my slide here on Facebook when you eventually get it. We're only live on YouTube. You'll get it on Facebook later on. On Instagram Live, there's no provision, for doing the slide. So you're just going to see me, like I say all the time. That's all you need. Let's go and have this time together looking at chapter 4. All right. So it's Marcus Aurelius puts it this way. He says, the nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength. One of the things that keeps us away from being alive is the pressure of life itself. Life has its own pressures. Life has its own pressures. Like Jesus would say, since the days of John the Baptist, the kingdom of God suffered violence. The kingdom of God suffered pressure. There's a battle taking place in the kingdom. There's a contention taking place in the kingdom. It's not a camp place. Everyone is trying to contend for position. Everyone is trying to contend for ground, as it were. And only those who actively participate in that contending process will take ownership of their own life, of their own space, are the ones that win. Right? Someone that is just passive about life will not win in the game of life, because life, or as it were, death, or the negative pool of life will take you off the path. That's why, the truth is that the way to heaven, whether it be spiritual or temporal, is a narrow one. You are not going to mistakenly get to heaven, whether it be spiritual or temporal. You will not mistakenly make it in this life. You will not mistakenly become rich. You only become rich because you choose to become rich. You will not become wealthy by mistake. You only become wealthy because you choose to become wealthy, because there are sacrifices required to become rich. There are disciplines required to become rich. There are sacrifices required to become wealthy. There are disciplines required to become wealthy. They don't happen by chance. They don't happen by mistake. It's an upward process. It's not a part of least resistance. It's the part of utmost resistance. You have to move against inertia. You move against gravity. You move against the negative pull of gravity. You move against a downward flow stream of deadness. You have to go You have to swim upstream, not downstream, to get to where life is, to get to where the source of life is, to get to the source of all that you need to make your life the fullness of what it ought to be, to make your life fulfilling, to make your life fulfilled, to achieve purpose in this life. You have to swim against the negative pole of deadness. You have to swim against the stream of deadness. Go to the place where life is. That is not going to happen by chance, because the elements will not help you in doing that. You have to go against the elements to attain, right? So there is different things, trying to contend. That's why people go through the rat race. They have bills to pay, they have school fees, rent, just feel pressure to do this or that, and they're running up and down. That's what life will want to get you to do, just run up and down. And you're never going to make it in life just by running up and down. People in the rat race will always be in the rat race. To get out of the rat race, you have to use your leverage. Use your leverage. Use your leverage. Is what that thing God has put between your two ears is what you use to get out of the rat race. What God has put between your two ears is what you need to come alive. What God has put between your two ears is what you need to win in this life. It's called your brain. Metaphysical, it's called your mind. That's your leverage. That's what differentiates us from ordinary animals. Animals don't have a mind, right? They have something up there, but it's not a mind. We have a mind. We're able to think. We're able to rationalize. We're able to create. We're not limited by what exists. We're able to pull from the invisible realm and make it available in the visible realm. Animals have not that. Human beings do, right? And that's why we have leverage. That's what God has given to us to dominate this physical realm. We dominate this physical realm by our ability to think. Our ability to think is our leverage position in this life. But if you are being carried away by the pressures of life, you tend not to think. You tend to just be driven by life instead of you driving life. You seem to be running from instead of you running to. The way to win in life is to drive your own life, not be driven by pressure of life. Is to move to your goals, your target, your desires, your dream. Not be running away from fear, not be running away from other people, but running to the things that you desire. And typical example would give, in this wise is looking at the predators and prey. The lion or predator is always running to the prey. The prey is always running from the predator. The only way to win in life is not to be a prey, but to be a predator. To be a predator, to be the one that hunts, not the one that is hunted. To be the one that hunts, not the one that is hunted. To be the one that hunts, not the one that is hunted. That's how we come alive. We're here to be the hunter, not to be hunted. And if you're going to be the hunter, then you have to have the right strategy to hunt, because your hunting is what gives you leverage, right? Is what makes you Lord, is what makes you to overcome. It's part of your coming alive, you're being alive. If you're here and you're being hunted, you're dead. If you're here and you're going along with the stream of life, you're dead. Fishes don't go downstream, moved by the stream of life. They move upstream. They swim upstream. They're not being moved by the flow of the current. They swim. They swim in the direction they want. They swim to the source of life. They swim to the source of food. They don't allow the current to move them anywhere that the current is going. And that's our calling in this life also. This universe is our own water. We decide what direction we're going to swim to. We decide how we use the current of the universe, the elements of this life to support us to win in life, right? Because that's the real intent, to support us. But when we don't know how to use them, they could work against us, right? So One of the things that we're going to look at as we look today is looking about how to, not allow the pressure of life, have its mastery over us, because we need that to come alive, one of the things that occurred to me, just thinking as I did my mother's burial recently here in July, I thank God I was in the position that I could do it. Whereas children in a position that we could do it, think about a time if we could not afford it. If our finances were upside down, there would have been so much pressure. But thank God, as I go through this process of becoming the hunter, as I go through this process of coming alive, the challenge of life does not meet me unprepared because I spend my time of peace to prepare for the rainy day, to prepare for the adversity, to grow myself. There is no idle moment in this life. You grow yourself because adversity would come unannounced. It will come at a time you do not expect it. If you have not used your time of peace well, it will flatten you. And the problem will not be the adversity. The problem will be you. You did not use your time of peace well. You did not grow when you are supposed to grow. Therefore, you failed the test that adversity has come to give to you. Adversity comes according to the ordination of God, because no adversity will come your way except that which God says should come your way. If God allows that adversity, it's because He's expecting you to be ready for it. He's expecting you to have the strength, the strength, the will without the capacity to handle it, because he knows that the time you had, if you had used it well, you'll have built enough strength for the adversity that would come your way. But if it comes and you fail, it's because you abused the opportunity. That's what we do when we get ourselves ready. Thank God in July I was ready. There was another time in my life I wasn't really ready. My uncle needed something. One of my cousins was wedding and he needed help. And as much as I wanted to help him, my finances were not in order. I couldn't help. I couldn't help as much as he wanted it because I was having crisis myself. You see, the less crisis you have personally, the better able you are to be a blessing to other people. When you are living from crisis to crisis, then you are not in a position to be a blessing. Then you are, in essence, you're useless. But we're here to be useful, meaning that I have to win in my life so that I can be a blessing to someone else. My ability to have my house in order is my ability to be in a position to be a blessing, to be a God representative on this earth to someone else. It is my ability to have my God personality come alive. It's my ability to cause the glory of God to be shown forth in and through my life. But when I don't have my own life in order, then I can be a blessing to someone else. So when I take care of my own affairs, I'm taking care of other people's affairs. The extent to which I'm taking care of my life is the extent to which I can be a blessing to someone else. Is the extent to which I can answer to the responsibilities of my life that are outside my immediate environment. If I cannot win the battles in my immediate environment, I cannot win the battles from far off. And that reminds me of Abraham. Lot had problem. Lot was taken, and his property, the wife and children. And Abraham took the armies in his own house to go rescue Lot. What if Abraham did not have peace in his own house? What if Abraham did not have soldiers in his own house? What if those soldiers were busy trying to kill internal fires? They would not have been in a position to go help Lot out. God, our responsibility is to make sure our own house is in order. That's our first place. You can't help other people until you've helped yourself. The first thing we need to do, and we should do every day of our life, is to put our own house in order. Put our own house in order, but because to the extent our house is in order is the extent to which we can be a blessing to someone else. It's the extent to which we can show for the glory of God in the life of someone else, right? Your house has to be in order. If your house is not in order, then you are dead. You're not alive. Coming alive is putting your house in order. Communal life is making sure your finances are in order. You know what you have. You know what is coming in. You know what is going out. You know what the expenditures that are before you, and you have a plan to meet them. You don't cause crisis in other people's life by you not taking care of your own life. It's not about going to borrow from someone else. It's not about going to put other people in confusion. It's about you taking care of your affairs. If there are responsibilities coming in front of you, plan for it. Plan for it. Put money aside. Invest, save. Do whatever it is to generate to meet the needs in your life, because there's grace to meet the needs in your life. There's grace to live the life that is in before you. God will not give you that which you are not able to handle. If God has given you a life, you have the grace, you have the wherewithal to live that life. Live to your potential, live to the grace that you have. Do something with this endowment that He has given to you. Think, think, think. If you know how to pray, pray for wisdom, pray for direction, but be in control, be on top of the affairs of your life. Don't wait for someone else, some destiny, some phantom destiny helper to come and rescue you. Yes, God brings people in our lives to help us, but they are not our primary focus. Our primary focus is what you can do with what is in your hands. The primary focus is what you can do with what's in your hands. While you are doing your best with what's in your hand, God will bring help. If someone else is not your primary focus, it's not your seed. Your seed is that is in your hands. When you are faithful with that is in your hands, God will bring help. When you're faithful with that's in your hands, God will bring help. But if you're all sitting down doing nothing, expecting something that someone else will come and help you, that help will not come. If that help comes, it will be to take over your life. It will be to use you, not to bless you. God's ways, use that is in your hand. Make the best of that in your hands. When you make the best of that in your hands, God will bring help. You will meet serendipity. You will meet help in strange places. You'll meet help in strange places. You'll meet help that will come from the east, from the west, from the north, from the south. God will bring help. But the starting point for the miracle is making the best of what's in your hands. Right? So let's look at some things that might help us in this wise. And it's just to kill the noise in our life. And this is something that's taught by Buddha, and it's just some way of calming, the noise around. And he says one of the first things we need to do is recognition, recognize the issues in our life. This can go in different sphere in our lives, but a lot of us live in denial. If you want to have control over your life, you have to be brutally honest with yourself. You have to be brutally concerned with yourself. You have issues, you have troubles. You have issues, you have troubles. I knew I had issues, I knew I had troubles. That's where I started from. I did not get to where I am in one day. Hey, I'm not yet where I want to be, but I'm way far past where I used to be. I gotta say that again. I'm way far past where I used to be. I'm in comfortable territory. I'm in comfortable territory. I'm not at home. I'm not at home. I've had different challenges, adversity that's hit me. Without those adversities, maybe I might say I'll be much better. But God allowed those adversities in my life. But even with those adversities, I'm way far ahead than I used to be. My life is a miracle, but I am not home yet, right? But I had to recognize I had issues. I had issues. I have exposures. I make money in one currency, I spend in another currency. My expenses in that currency might be the same, but with the exchange rate, I gotta make more where I make money to be able to meet my needs. That's my reality from a financial standpoint. My reality is that I'm going to retire in 3 years' time. Next month, I'm going to be 57. Then I have 3 years counting in a normal working life. Retirement will not come suddenly on me because I have all this time to prepare. I shut down working 3 years ago because I wanted to start I recognize the fact that I'm going to retire at 60 unless the government changes the way they do things. Retirement here in Nigeria is 60, whether I like it or not, whether I'm ready or not. But I have the opportunity to prepare. I have the opportunity to prepare. If I've done nothing, I have 3 years to go. It's all in my hands to make the best of 3 years. Whether I do nothing, whether I do something or not, 3 years will come. The only test will be after 3 years. The question is, what did I do with these 3 years that I have before me? Right? It will not be God, it will not be the devil, it will be me. It'll be me, not dad, not God, not my wife, not my children, not anything else but me. I have 3 years to go. What am I going to do with it? That's the reality for me. Reality for me, I'm a pastor, I'm a teacher, I'm a motivational speaker, I'm a life development coach. I do all of those stuff, you know. I got to do this afternoon. It's just a time I chose, to do it, and I chose this time I started doing this while I was in the US, right? So this used to be afternoon. It was that I could go to church and go, right? It was actually during COVID, so I was at home, but it was afternoon, right? It was afternoon in the central time. But it's a time I've chosen, meaning that I have to ask myself, what does it take to do this well? Because if I'm going to do it, I got to do it well. So I have to make some sacrifice. I have to cancel some meetings. I have to cancel some things just to make this well, because I've chosen to do this. So you have to recognize your life, recognize what is before you. For me, again, I'm ending this year. My year typically will end um October of every end of October of every year, because I use the whole of November to give thanks, and I use December to prepare for the coming year. So my 2024 ended 31st of October. So this month, all I'm doing is giving thanks and acknowledging all that God has done for me in 2024. And God has done a lot. Even though my mama died this year, June, but that does not obliterate the fact that God has been faithful. Even with my mom's dying, God was faithful, right? Seeing her through the sickness, seeing my siblings through the time my mom was incapacitated, to the time she passed on, the burial, everything. Seeing people traveling in and out for the burial. God has been faithful, kept everybody safe through that period. It's been a blessing this year for me and my farm, our first year of real commercial farming. Every other thing was like a bubble. This year we had continuous harvesting twice a month, twice a week. When we're doing the habanero, we're harvesting twice a week. We're temporarily on break with that because of the rainy season, but we're here doing bell pepper. Now we're harvesting also twice a week, and when different other things God's been blessing us with, you know. But I have to recognize that it's a reality of my life, because the strength from that is what helps me to go on. I need to recognize my strength, what I have, because that's what I'm going to fly on. That's the wind that will carry me through life, through the life that's before me, right? So you need to recognize that. You need to recognize your challenge. I have specific challenges in the workplace, and I have to be realistic with it. Either to have not probably treated those challenges the way I should. I've been one I grew up a passionate person, and I used to think that I needed I try to be authentic. And one of that, I try to uh, be one person that is make visible who I am, or what I feel at each point in time. But I found that some of that is probably not right. I can't necessarily show my feelings all the time because it might communicate, though there are not too many people. There are some people that won't understand it. There's something also called psychological warfare, meaning that I can fight a battle without fighting it physically, without being visible that I'm fighting it. Sun Tzu will call it the acme or the superior or the supreme, the act of supreme warfare. Is to be able to fight a battle or win a war without fighting. There's a skill to that also, right? So it's not all, this is who I am, this is who I am. Sometimes that does not win. That doesn't make the difference for you. That doesn't push you forward. Sometimes that shows to everyone all your ammunition, and they're able to use that against you. Sometimes it's just having a calm personality. One of the other things that hit me, as I was meditating over this during the week is if truly I say God is for me, right, then I need to show that in the way I do things. Yeah, there are things I need to not cross the line. I need to show that in my calm disposition. I need to be able to trust him. Trust him. Trust him. Yes, I'm going to do everything that I'm supposed to do that's expected of me. But after I've done that, I need to also rest in God. I need to also rest in God and not try to fight my own battles, right? Not try to fight my own battles, right? The arm of flesh will fail you. There's a place you're going to do your best. There's things you must do, but there are lines you also should not cross, right? There are lines you should not cross, and God expects you not to cross them. Okay, if you cross them, He will not defend you. You will regret them when you cross them. There are lines of authority you need to respect, even though they might not be working for you at that point in time. You're not going to go against the law of God just because you're trying to make something work for you. There are still principles, there are laws that govern what we do or not do in this life, and there's never an excuse to disobey them. So even as I come alive, worrying in this life, there are boundary conditions I must never cross. So when we say come alive, we're not saying just do anything. We're saying you still have you have to do it within the limits of the law, within the limits of the principles of life, right? Doing it that way might not give you necessarily the immediate result. Sometimes it's going to take time because you're doing it the right way, but the right way is a sustainable way. If you go and get it by force against these laws, it will not last. But here we're talking about something that is sustainable, something that is lasting, something that would form the foundation of your tomorrow. Therefore, it has to be done rightly. It has to be done according to what the laws are, the principles of life are. Right? It's never against the laws of life. It's never against the principles of life. It's always within the laws and principles of life. Right? So we need to recognize where you are. Recognize the issues concerning your life. Recognition is probably key. And I'm feeling maybe I should take away the slide each time. And I'm just talking on those points, but I'll soon move to the second one and I'll probably take it down just for the sake of those on YouTube to see my face other than just a slide. But the way to come alive is recognizing and not denying the truth, the reality of your circumstance of life. You have to take a picture of where you are. You cannot change what you don't recognize. A lot of people live in deception, right? They're living their life as if they are what they are not, and they're carrying themselves as what they are not. And and that is like building a house without foundation. Because if you're going to grow, you're going to grow from where you are. You have to be brutally honest with yourself as to the reality of the situations of your life. Yes. Now there are things you do from there. Some of it is not acting what you're going through, acting where you're going to, but it must always be after recognizing the challenges, the circumstances you're fighting against, you're contending against. Because only after you recognize what it is that you're contending with in life, can you then address your ammunition, you can address your blows, to target, to work on those things. When you don't recognize the reality of where you are, then you're probably fighting the air, you're punching the air, and you're not hitting home. You're not having the effect, you're not having the change that you desire. So it's important to recognize where you are and the challenges that are facing you, the things that you need to work on. The next thing is to accept it, right? The next thing is to accept it. I'm going to go ahead and show myself for the people. The next thing is to accept it. It's one thing to recognize the issues, but you could still be in denial. The issues in your life is to accept it. It is what it is. Like I told you, some issues I'm battling with in the workplace. It is what it is. I've not been promoted in the last 12 years, right? People that see me probably can't recognize that because I know about everybody. I know about all the top shots, right? Because they're my friends, they're people we've worked together, you know. But unless I see it, people can't see it because it's not in my work, it's not in the way I carry myself, right? But I'm not in denial of what it is. It is what it is. I don't try to be as if I'm who I'm not, right? I accept it. I accept it. I accept the challenge of life. I accept the fact that I have some family situations, uh, uh, that I'm dealing with, right? Not between me and my wife. Me, our children are out there in school, Uh, one of my daughters is sick. He's been in and out of hospital. It's a reality of my life. Yes, I lead a prayer meeting, but I have that challenge I'm working on. You right? I am not God. I lead a prayer meeting, yes. Uh, God has not enabled me to just touch or send anointing to my daughter and she just wakes up. And I'm not going to do it any other way but God's way. It is a challenge in my life. I accept it and I'm working on it. I'm trusting God for it. I'm believing God for it. I'm praying. I'm doing everything that I can do for it. Right. I'm not going to live in denial, right, about it. Right. Uh, I am not where I want to be financially. I'm way better than a lot of people. I can tell you that, but I am not where I want to be, you know. So, but I accept where I am. I know where I want to be, and I have a plan to get there. So I work on it, right? But you're not going to be able to do anything about your life until first of all you recognize where you are and you accept it. You got to accept it to work on it. That what we call that is being brutally honest with yourself. Until you recognize and accept, you cannot come alive. You're just living. You're living a lie. Living a lie. I'm not saying that you cannot act. You should act where you are, but you must recognize where you and accept where you are and know why you are doing what you are doing. And it better be to get you out or make you better than where you presently are. That's important, right? Let me go on to the next one. I just wanted to show my face. So, did I? All right. I got it out. All right. Yeah, we're back here. So the third one is you got to embrace it, right? You have to embrace it. You cannot solve what you don't embrace. You typically will use the word leaning into life. Well, typically we use the word leaning into life, right? So the first thing we said is whatever your life is, you got to recognize what it is. You have to recognize the reality of your life, right? A lot of people want to get better, want their situation to get better, but they don't want to get better. Your situation in life will not get better until you get better. Life works by attraction. You have attracted everything that is presently in your life. It's not coincident. Your bank account is the measure of who you are or who you have exhibited yourself to be. Everything in your life you attracted. If you want to attract something different, then you have to become a different, better person to attract a different, better outcome. You made an appointment to be where you are today because of the person you are. If you want to make an appointment to be somewhere else, you have to become a different kind of person. You have to become the kind of person that attracts the things that you want. And it starts by you recognizing how you got here. You did not get here by accident. You got where you presently are by appointment. You made appointment with where you presently are. If you want to be somewhere else, you have to make an appointment to be in that different place. You have to find out what it takes to be in that different place, because it's not going to happen by chance. It's going to happen by change. You have to recognize the change you need to make to have a different, better outcome. Otherwise, it will not be your portion, to not come your way. So the first thing we said is you have to recognize how you got here. What got me here? How did I get here? You have to accept it. You have to own it, because you got yourself here. You have to embrace where you are and embrace what it takes to get you to where you want to get to. You have to lean into life. You don't run away from life. You lean into life. You win life by going through, not by escaping. Life is about leaning into life. You run to what you want, not to run from where you are. You run to what you want, not to run from where you are. You win where you are right now. You overcome where you are right now to get to where you want to get to. You don't leave an enemy unconquered. You don't leave an enemy still breathing. You wake that sleeping dog up and deal with it. Deal with it. Settle your score with it before you move on. Don't wait for when that dog will wake up unawares and catch you. You deal with the issues of your life. You don't run from them. You recognize how you got here. You accept it because it's your life. You embrace it. Embrace where you are, embrace where you want to get to, and begin to work on it. Right? So let's look at the fourth one now. And the fourth thing we have here is, I need to wear my glasses to say this one, is you have to look deeply, right? You have to look deeply, right? So, and pretty much it's thinking, right? So it's, I recognize where I am, I accept it, I embrace it. Then I have to think about it. How did I get here? What were the things that made me get here? What were I'm saying here that you made an appointment. That might not mean anything to you, because you're saying, how did I make an appointment? I didn't make an appointment to be here, but you did. So the question to ask is how? What did I do that got me here? What were the decisions I made or did not make that brought me here? If you stay in a place that someone is always speaking on your life what you don't want, guess what? You will get what you don't want, because the words that are spoken over your life on a continual basis will program your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind will drive you to the word that is over your life. You want me to say that again? If you stay in a place that the words over your life are the words that will not take you to where you want to go to, those words will take you to that place you don't want to go to. Because at some point in time, because that word is prevalent and continuous over your life, some of it will seep into your subconscious mind. Once it hits your subconscious mind will do everything to make it come to pass. Your conscious mind is a guide to your unconscious mind. Anything that escapes your conscious mind and gets your unconscious mind will affect the programming of your life. The programming of your life will run your life, whether you like it or not. Your life is run by the programming in your life when you are not conscious. And we're not conscious 24/7. Some of our wake period, we're not conscious. What is running our life is a program in our subconscious mind when we are not consciously doing things. So you have to be careful of the words over your life. Maybe you don't want to do it, but you stay in a place where someone is speaking negativity over you, speaking witchcraft over you, trying to control your life, telling you, oh, how you should give a first seed offering, should give you should give this, give that, and all of that, and have no bearing. They're just trying to steal money from you. They're telling you things that have no scriptural basis or whatever it is. Someone telling you about finance that's never worked in his life or her life before, it will lead you where you don't want to go to. You have to control the mic over your life. Make sure your life is only exposed to the things that empower you, the things that move you to the place you want to go. And that's your choice. I'm not here telling you, pick one or the other. You decide the life you want for yourself. Again, you made an appointment to be where you are right now. Question: how do you make an appointment to be where you want to be tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, next 5 years, next 10 years, in your dying bed? Where do you want to be at those points? How do you make an appointment to be there? What are things you need to do differently today that will help you get there? How did you get to where you are right now? What are those things you need to change about how you got here right now that will help you get to where you want to get to? Because if you don't change where you are, if you don't change those things, you will continue on the trajectory that got you here. And that trajectory is it making you better or worse? Is it making you better or worse? Are you better today than you were yesterday? Do you like that trajectory? Do you need to stay on that trajectory? Can you do something to make it better? Do you need to give it momentum? Those are the questions you need to ask, and you need to do something about the answers you get to have a different life. The different life you're looking for will not come by chance. It's going to come by change. You need to do something. You need to become a better person to have the better life you're looking for. Right? Let me bring the slide up again. All righty. So we need to look deeply about our life and ask the right questions. And lastly is, through all of this, we can hopefully get insight as to the things we need to do better to get us to where we're supposed to do. That's the key to all of what I've said about, recognition, acceptance, embracing, looking deeply. Is hopefully at the end of this all, you'll get wisdom. You'll get wisdom. You'll get understanding of your ways. And I'm not telling you something I've not done myself. It's something I've done, I'm doing, and will do. I study, I gain mastery over my life. I don't allow any feeling to go unchecked, any tendency to go unchecked. Only yesterday something happened, and I was just, it's called mindfulness. You're not allowed, and you're not allowing strange thoughts, strange feelings, strange things in your mind. You're taking notice of the things in your life so that you stay on top of it. You're not allowing life to drive you, but you are driving life. You're moving your life where you want your life to go. You don't having a scattered life. You're not having a hurry sickness. You're not allowing anxiety to reign in your life. You're planning your life. You're putting things to be done at the right time, in the right place, in the right way. You're not doing things out of hurry, but you're staying on top of your life. When you look at your life, you get insight, and you have to do something with that insight. That insight will help you to say no to some things, a whole lot of things you need to say no to. No should be an easy thing that comes out of your mouth. Because once you say yes, you're saying no. By saying yes, you're saying no. By saying no, you're saying yes. If I say no to the things that don't take me in the part of my target, my goals, my vision, then I'm saying yes to the things that do take me there. If I say yes to the things that take me to the path of my target, my vision, then I'm saying no to the things that don't take me there. The important thing is to have clarity about where you're going. Have clarity about your dying day. When I'm there on my dying bed, who do I want to be? Who do I want to be? What do I have to want to have achieved? That determines my yes and no, because my yes are only the things that will make that happen for me. My no are to the things that will not make that happen to me. I have clarity. And when I look at my life, as I've spoken about, I get more clarity, I get insight. I know what to do more of and what to do less of. I know what are that are for me and the things that are not for me. Right? Everything is in a state of flux. Everything, friends, activity, associations, everything is in a state of flux. Question is, are you using them rightly? Are you harnessing them the way they should be harnessed in the 2 day of your life? That's what will determine the result you get or not get. Right? Let's go on. That's what will determine if you will come alive or not come alive. Right? All righty. So going further, still in the book, let's see how much of this we'll cover. And one of the quotes that came on was just asking questions, still in the line of talking about coming alive. He says, what is your soul calling you to do? You know, those are deep questions we need to ask ourselves, which will determine whether we're coming alive or not. You know, I read a quote. I read a quote today, which says that when you're alone and you don't like a person you're with, oh, it was Marcus Aurelius, yes. But if you're lonely, you don't like the person you're with, then you're in bad company. That means you don't like yourself. There are a lot of people that don't like themselves. Why? They don't know themselves. They don't know themselves. They've not dated themselves. They're always looking for someone else. They always think the grass is greener on the other side. Someone else is better than them because they don't know themselves. They have not spent time to discover themselves. They don't know how to harness the gift that is them. Your greatest asset is you, no one else. Not me. I'm not your greatest asset. No, your pastor is not. Your bishop is not. Your geo is not. Your greatest asset is you. God put everything that you need to win in this life on the inside of you. And you are not going to make it in this life until you know you, until you know this asset. You're not going to make it in this life. Today we talk about emotional intelligence, being one of those key things that will help you make it in a corporate world. But emotional intelligence is just simply knowing how to regulate yourself. But you can't regulate what you don't know. You don't have emotional intelligence because you don't know yourself. You can't regulate yourself. Proverbs will tell us that a man that cannot control his spirit is like a city without walls. That means anybody can just make you do or be whatever they want you to be. You gotta know you need to make friends with yourself. You need to discover yourself. You're gonna win in this life. You have to make friends with yourself. Know you. Otherwise, you can't win in this life. You're not gonna come alive. You have to know what is your soul saying. Because the one that created you put something on the inside of you, put your purpose on the inside of you. Your purpose is not outside of you. Your purpose is inside of you. Your purpose is built in the inside of you. In the scriptures, ancient wisdom says that the creator decided on a good work to do. After he decided on a good work to do, then he created you to fulfill that good work. Your purpose came before you. You were shaped to fulfill the purpose. God decided on the purpose he wanted you to achieve, first of all, the good work. Then he shaped you to fulfill that purpose. You are not an afterthought. God thought about you before he created you. He didn't create you then think, oh, so what can we do with this person that we have created? That's not the order of things. God decided the life he wanted someone to live. Then he created you and me to live that life. We're not afterthoughts. God thought about what our king can do. Then he created our king in a way that will do that thing he wanted our king to do. So our king is well fitted for everything God wants our king to do. Our king is complete, sufficient in himself, in his creation, to live the life that God envisioned for him to live. God wrote in his book what our king will do, then created our king sufficient and empowered and grace to fulfill everything that's written in the book concerning him. That's same way God created you. You're not an afterthought. Everything he wanted you to do, he has empowered you to do it. He has equipped you to do it. If only you know you. What's there written in your soul? What's there written in your being? Your purpose is there. Your purpose is there. Your purpose is not anti you. Your purpose agrees with you. If only you know who you are. If only you know what your tendencies are. Your tendings are. The Bible will say, train up a child in the way the child should go. And when that child is old, that child will not depart. Train up a child according to the bending, the creation of that child, the tendencies in that life. And that life will stay in that path when it's grown, when it's of age and makes his or her own decision. Train up a child according to the hand of God you see in that life. And that life will go according to the hand of God in that life. What is your soul saying? Who are you? What's your person crying out? Do you know you? You can't win against yourself. So God said to Joshua that this is the way to have good success, by knowing me through my word. So there's success, there's good success. There's success that does not fulfill you. There's good success that fulfills you. Good success is in agreement with your soul, your being, your person. Not doing something that's against your character. You're not going to have good success. You might have money, but the money, you might seemingly have money, but true is the money that has you. You don't have the money. In good success, you have the wealth, you have the money. In just success, that thing has you. It seems like if you have it, but it's that thing that has you. It will consume you. It will consume you if it's not in agreement with your person. So you got to know, what is your soul saying? What's in agreement with your person? And this probably borders on authenticity also, right? Being authentic with who you are and not trying to be who you are not. In a sense, also, we're not talking about making excuses out of life. There's a place to stretch yourself, right? Stretch yourself out of your comfort zone. By the end of the day, you cannot be any other person but yourself. When you stretch, you're still within the limit of being yourself without excuses. So you got to know what your soul is calling out for. Who are you as a person? Because in who you are is your strength. We all have strengths and weaknesses, right? You're not going to build excellence on weaknesses. You got to know your strength. You can only build excellence on your strength. So that's why we talk about doing a SWOT analysis. We do that for organizations. Individuals need to do that also. Because if you don't do that, you won't know what to harness in your life. You might be spending your time on something someone else should do for you, right? If you can build excellence in your weaknesses, that's not what you should spend your time on. You spend time on the things that move the bulk for you. You spend time on the 20% that make the 80% difference, not spending time on the 80% that make the 20% difference. Find out your strength, find out who you are, find out what your soul is calling out to, and follow that path, because that path is a part of your life. Know yourself and go in the strength of who you are. Let me see. All right. We're getting close to the hour mark here. So I need to start running up. Let's see if I can finish the slide we're on, and we'll close here with it. It says, what is the mission, the meaning only you can fulfill, right? So you're asking a question, what is the mission, the vision that only you can fulfill? I'm gonna use the word only you. It's probably not exclusive, but just saying how to maximally tap your potential, right? What are the things that will go with your strengths, right? What are the things you're good at? So pretty much tying to everything I've said so far. The creator decided on what he wanted you to do, created you to fit that. You need to be finding inside of you what that is, because hearing is your success. Hearing is your power. Hearing is your strength. Hearing is your place to build excellence. Every other thing other than this, you can delegate to someone else, because that's not what that makes the most bulk for you, right? You need to know you. Find out what it is that makes you come alive, because not everything makes you come alive. You're finding out the things that make you come alive and want to focus on that, right? So, let's where have you eaten away your most profound desires and aspirations? So be sincere, be true to yourself, I guess, is the key word there. And we're going to close at this point here. Is the key word there's being true to yourself, right? Being true to yourself. What are the deep desires of your heart? What are your aspirations? Sometimes religion, steals that from us. Religion tells us, those things are not important. Religion makes us feel that priority is not to chase after our own desires, our own aspirations, because someone wants us to chase after their own, but there is something that makes you come alive. And if you don't do that thing, you will not be fulfilled. There's something that makes you come alive. If you don't do that thing, you will not be fulfilled. You will not live life alive. You'll pass through, just be passing through. You will not be living, just be existing. You need to be true to yourself. What are your desires, your aspirations? And have to have a plan to make them come to pass. Because that's what it means to be alive, to leave a legacy, to leave a mark here. Right? We're not going to be here forever, but we can leave a mark here. While we're here, we can make a difference in life, in existence, in civilization. We can fulfill the reason of our creation. There is something we're created to do. Let's find that out and make sure we do it, and not just be about another person's business, but let's be about the reason for our creation, right? God help you. God help me also. God help us all. I'm going to stop here for today. We're going to continue next week, Sunday, which is a bit threatened. If I don't come online next week, Sunday, I will come online the upper Sunday, because next week, Sunday, I have a program, which starts at 3. So maybe I need to leave the house before 3. That means I can't do this. But if I don't come online next Sunday, I'll see you upper Sunday. But thanks for staying with me for this period. Have a great week ahead. I wish you the best. This coming week is our second week in November. We have that puts us 6 more weeks after this week to the end of the year. Let's finish this year strong. You right? Let's finish this year strong. For me, I finished in October, but let's go with the calendar for everybody. Let's finish strong. And prepare for the coming 2025 and make it even a better year, the best year we've ever had to date. God bless you. Thanks for spending this time with me. See you next Sunday. Bye-bye. Shalom.